Could it be an actual AEW video? What's up, you guys? It's the Wrestling Old Head. You have entered the portal of pro wrestling. Now, if you're new around here, stay true around here. We got a subscribe button down there. You can go ahead and click that. Go ahead and hit thumbs up on the notifications bell if you enjoy this video. And I've got others in the library, just video after video of my opinion of the current product, the past product, and sometimes I even talk about the future. I even got a 2026 predictions video. It's probably going to be right below this video in the library. You should go check it out. If you don't want to go into the video library because you've seen all the videos already and you just need to go see that 2026 predictions video, then just wait till the end of this video and it's probably going to click up on the left hand, right hand side, one of those sides. Anyways, let's get into it. Let's talk about it, you guys. AEW has a new AEW World Champion going into the year 2026, and he is MJF. And I almost said yeah, but I'm not going to do that because this is an AEW video. MJF is basically the RIC FLAIR of AEW. You know, I think Tony Khan has been watching, obviously, admittedly, a lot of Mid-South. I'm sure he's watched a lot of UWF. I'm sure he's watched a lot of JCP and NWA, more specifically NWA. And I've just noticed a little bit of a parallel in this world title run already in the early stages. You know, he hasn't even had a defense of that AEW World Championship, but I just already noticed just something that I got to touch upon. And if you will indulge me for a few moments, I'll describe what it is that I'm seeing here. So first of all, I got to give a shout out to Robert Karpelis. Robert Karpelis has been in the professional wrestling business for 20 years at the very least. And he has a show Monday through Friday with Dominic D'Angelo called Rumor and Innuendo. You should check that out. It's on the Rumor and Innuendo channel. It's on Podcast Heat. You can find it on a ton of channels. Just look up Rumor and Innuendo. I'm sure it's going to be one of the first things that pops up. And he was talking about having a successful world champion requires a rogues gallery. And what he's referring to is from the Batman comic book where you had Ra's al Ghul, Joker, the Riddler, the Penguin, Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, all of these villains that had different personalities, different objectives with the sole purpose to go after Batman. It's what kept Batman fresh for so long, is this host of other villains. And sure, other comic books has done similar things, but this story of the Rogues Gallery specifically pertains to Batman. And every successful good guy world title run should have a rogues gallery. In my opinion, Hangman Adam Page's last two world title reigns would have been a lot better had he had something like a rogues gallery where there was a litany of wrestlers that were banging down the door to get a crack at the AEW World Championship to test Hangman Adam Page and his endurance. But he just didn't get that. And I believe MJF in this AEW world title reign is getting that, and I'm going to explain. In the 80s, the Jim Crockett Promotions / National Wrestling Alliance, NWA, had Ric Flair as a world champion, and he himself had a rogues gallery. The difference here is that Ric Flair was a bad guy, and the fans paid money because they thought he was going to get beat. The fans shelled out money at show after show hoping that one of these challengers was going to be the one to dethrone the Nature Boy Ric Flair. And on some occasions, they got what they wanted. On most occasions, Ric Flair, the self-proclaimed, and now everybody says it, Sports Illustrated says it, Fightful Wrestling says it, hell, even OneWrestling.com used to say it. That's a little reference to Becky Lynch for you AEW hardcores that probably don't watch the WWE, but it's, if you know, you know. It's a pretty good reference. You should check it out sometime. It's pretty entertaining stuff. You know, Ric Flair he was a villain and the dirtiest player in the game. Self-proclaimed, and now everybody says it, the dirtiest player in the game. So at any given night, he had guys like Terry Taylor, Wahoo McDaniel, Harley Race, Ronnie Garvin, Magnum TA, Barry Windham, Greg Valentine, just Terry Funk, Ricky Steamboat, Lex Luger. All of these guys were banging down the door at the wrestling committees to try to get a shot at the NWA World Championship, to try to dethrone Ric Flair. And on some occasions, like I said, they were successful, but Flair always found a way to get the title back. And now, in current present-day AEW, I look at this MJF title run in its early stages, and I see just that. I see the Rogues Gallery already building up. We've already had Kenny Omega make a statement that he wants a shot at the AEW World Championship. I wouldn't be surprised if Samoa Joe starts knocking down the door asking for a rematch. Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page have come together with the sole purpose of taking down MJF. One of them is going to do it, and then they're going to start taking each other's heads off. But they're trying to get at MJF. I'm sure you're going to see other challengers come out of the woodwork as well. There's a story there with Bobby Lashley that has not been finished, that is kind of just an open book at this point. You know, MJF with the Hurt Syndicate, they had a falling out. They never really resolved any differences. We never got Bobby Lashley against MJF. We never got Shelton Benjamin against MJF. So there's a lot with that. There's even an opportunity to get MVP against MJF. I mean, they can even go that route if they so choose. MJF is now on the run, and he is going to have to use every dirty trick in his book to thwart the attacks of all of these good guys. So it's a very interesting parallel that I'm drawing between Ric Flair and MJF. Now, if you remember in the NWA days in the 80s, Ric Flair was one of their top draws. You know, you also had Dusty Rhodes, Ricky Steamboat came in for a while, the aforementioned Barry Windham, Magnum TA, Tully Blanchard, all of these guys that came in, but Ric Flair was the one that everybody wanted to pay to see, but they didn't want to pay to see him win. They wanted to pay to see him get his ass kicked, and I think the same can be said for MJF, although in this era of professional wrestling, you can't really do a one-to-one comparison here because Ric Flair at the time was most hated. MJF is hated depending on where he goes. There are some fans, and I don't think it's a small contingency by any means. I think there is a large base of fans, depending on where AEW decides to travel over the states, that actually love them some MJF. They love when he talks shit. They love when he clowns. They love when he's being a dirty heel where he's like got brass knuckles or the dynamite diamond ring or what have you. So I think there's a difference there where fans aren't necessarily in droves paying tickets to see MJF get his ass kicked. They just want to see MJF. He's super entertaining. And right now he's a branding and marketing genius. He's a cash cow. AEW is sitting on a cash cow here. Now with AEW giving him the world championship, he can do his press runs for movies. He can be on red carpets. With the AEW World Championship, it is a walking advertisement. This is something that AEW has needed for a long time. It was actually very refreshing on AEW Dynamite last night to see the show start off with a storyline, to see the show start off discussing what other casual fans may have missed from the product. It's keeping everything flowing. They still had great matches. They still had that breakneck, fast-paced style that AEW is known for, but they also incepted and inserted some idea of progression of storylines to get you emotionally involved in what's going on. Something that is essential when you are a wrestling company that is prime time on national television or national streaming and what have you. And with someone like MJF, with his growing stature, I think it's going to be really, really important to focus on all of the challengers that are coming in and the potential for MJF to have some blockbuster matches and build the anticipation and the excitement and the drama, the suspense that can come from them possibly defeating MJF, or is MJF going to eke out a victory? So there's a lot to be said with this MJF title run. And like I said before at the beginning of this video, it really does remind me of Ric Flair's NWA World title run that he had in the 80s with the NWA and Jim Crockett Promotions. Now, here's the thing that I must talk about, AEW fans. Cover your ears if you don't want to hear this, because it is definitely just a theory. But MJF has done all that he can in AEW, quite literally. He's won the tag titles. He's won the TNT title, I believe. He's the Dynamite Diamond Ring champion for like forever until recently when Bandito won it, and Bandito's going to be challenging MJF coming up very soon. He's won the world title. He's won the Ring of Honor titles. He's just done it all. And so in the time-honored tradition of the business, when you have someone like MJF and he's been and done everything at such a breakneck speed, which is what AEW does. They go really fast. They burn through a lot of material really fast. They've only been around for almost 7 years, mind you, that there's really not going to be enough to spice up another MJF title run like 3 years from now, or MJF being defined down to the upper card or even mid card. You're going to have to do something long term to make sure that MJF is in the pantheon of greats that have come through AEW, and he is solidified as a top guy for about 5 years. Now, it doesn't mean he needs to win the AEW World Championship for 5 years, but simply put, you don't want MJF to look around like Chris Jericho did, for instance, and go like, I've done all I can here. I've helped you guys out. It was a great run, and now it's time for me to move on. And you don't want like someone like MJF to go to WWE and reinvent himself or become super popular. They've done that with CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, and look what has happened. So you don't want to lose someone like MJF. So I beg of Tony Khan and AEW to properly plan out. Like, I've given you these list of opponents already. So if you properly plan out 6 or 7 months of material for MJF, you can build not only the future with this MJF title run, not only the present, but you can also set up MJF for the next 5 years to have some great programs, great stories, and do some really, really great things. So what it's going to come down to is this title run going to be memorable? And you want it to be memorable. If you speed through it and go super fast at ultrasonic speed, then there's going to be a chance that people are going to forget all of the important beats of the story of MJF's world title run in 2026, and you don't want fans to miss that. Now, hardcore fans set aside, sickos set them aside, because they're going to be keying in and remembering all of these things anyways. It's the casual fans. It's the fans that are coming to see something that is refreshing and new. They're sick of the WWE. They're not interested in watching lower wrestling companies like the NWA, the MLW, the JCWs, the House of Glory Wrestlings, the Absolute Intense Wrestlings. They're looking to see something that is going to keep them in the primetime spotlight, big budget, that type of atmosphere, large crowds, crowd reactions. And if you can do that with an MJF title run, then now you've solidified not only the challengers who can then move on to eventually become champions, but you've also solidified MJF as your guy, as the guy that's going to lead the company going into the next 5 years. So it's very important that they key in on that, and I really hope they do. But yes, MJF's title run already at its infancy, but it's reminding me very much of Ric Flair in the 80s. Robert Karpelis, if you're listening, which you're probably not, but if you are, thanks for that Rogues Gallery analogy. That was a perfect analogy, and it really, I can't stop seeing it. I start to look in professional wrestling, and I see it everywhere now. So I appreciate that, past, present, and hopefully in the future, more bookers are going to start to do that, because I think it is very, very essential to the success and the longevity of someone's world title reign. But what do you guys think? What does this MJF title reign remind you of? If not Ric Flair, you guys let me know that in the comments. Hey, thanks again, you guys, for watching this video. If you like this and more, go ahead and look down below. There's a couple of videos that I have that are either going to be on the bottom left or right, or the top left or right, either or. Go ahead and check those videos out. And if you like it, go ahead and click that subscribe button, because we're going to have a whole lot more here in the portal of pro wrestling. This is the Wrestling Old Head. Thanks for stopping by, you guys. I'll see you in the next one.